December 1939, -40. In northern Europe lies a small country, Finland. Opposite it lies a giant, the Soviet Union. The USSR has 1 million soldiers, thousands of tanks and planes. Finland has 30,000 men. But among them was one whose name will forever go down in history. His name was Simo Häyhä. A farmer. A hunter. A man who didn't like to talk. Since childhood, he had been the best shot in the area. His first gun was an old Mosin, inherited from his father. He used it to hunt moose and hazel grouse. He was 34 when the war began. Small in stature, 1 m. Quiet, inconspicuous. Perfect for disappearing into the snow. The army issued him an M/28-30 rifle. Without a scope. The optics glitter, he said. And glitter is death. November 30th, 1939. Soviet troops crossed the border. Confident, Finland will fall in a couple of weeks. But instead of an easy stroll, they find themselves in a freezing hell. The temperature drops to -43 degrees. The tanks freeze. The soldiers freeze. And somewhere ahead, silence. White, silent, deceptive silence. And suddenly, a shot. One. Short. The soldier falls. The others look into the snow, but see no one. From the white void, people disappear. One by one. Without a sound. Without a trace. This is Simo Häyhä. His position is a few hundred meters away. He is buried in the snow. He packed it tightly to keep the steam from rising. Snow in his mouth, to hide his breath. He waits for hours. Sometimes a whole day. And he shoots only when he's sure. His rifle has no scope. Just an iron sight. But the accuracy is like a machine gun. They call him White Death. And with every shot, his name becomes a fear. To 1,000 soldiers, he's invisible. To Finland, he's a hero. And to the world, he's a symbol of how one man can become an entire army. Soon rumors of the White Death spread throughout the entire front line. The soldiers whispered around the fires. He sees us, but we do not see him. Fear grew. In every snowflake they imagined his aim. The Soviet command decides that it must be destroyed. Entire groups of hunters, experienced snipers, artillery crews, even aviation, are sent against one person. Every day shells fall on his positions. But when the smoke clears, he shoots again. Häyhä moves silently. Changes positions several times a day. He knows the terrain better than anyone, every rock, every path, every snowdrift. Sometimes he waits 10 hours. The snow blinds your eyes, your hands are cold, your breathing is interrupted. But he doesn't move. His disguise is perfect. No enemy approaches without noticing his gaze. During the 3 months of the war, Simo Häyhä killed more than 500 people. 500. This is not a number. This is a shock to the whole world. Reporters wrote. One farmer with a carbine stopped the army. But war does not forgive even heroes. March 6, 1940. Forest near Kala. Simo is in ambush. The day is like thousands of others, frost, silence, wind. And suddenly, an explosive bullet hits him right in the face. The jaw is crushed. Half of his face is covered in blood and snow. His comrades find the body. They think he's dead. But he is breathing. He is taken to the hospital. At this time the war was almost over. Finland lost land, but did not break. When Simo woke up, there were still fresh scars on his face. He learned that he was nicknamed White Death. He just smiled and said, "I did what I had to do." After the war he returned to the farm. He hunted and raised dogs. I never liked to talk about what I did. Only once did he say a phrase that is still quoted today. "I didn't shoot for the sake of killing. I shot to protect my home." Simo Häyhä lived to be 97 years old. And even as an old man, he went out into the forest every day. The snow crunched underfoot. And somewhere far away, the echo of his shot still sounded. The war was over. The snow had melted, but the shadows of war remained. Finland had lost part of its lands, but its soul remained. Simo Häyhä returned to his home, to the same village from which he had once left for the front. The land was the same. Only he was different. His face was scarred, but his eyes were calm. He no longer wore a uniform. He went out into the forest every day. He took his dog and an old rifle with him, no longer for war. People in the area respected him, but almost no one dared ask about the war, about shooting. He simply nodded and left. Decades passed. When journalists found him, he would answer briefly, "I simply did what I had to." He didn't consider himself a hero. He called those who never returned heroes. But the legend lived on. For some, he was a myth. For others, a monster. And for Finns, a symbol that even a small country can stand against a giant. In his old age, Simo lived in seclusion. He hunted and raised dogs. He loved to watch the sun set behind the spruce trees. Sometimes young soldiers came to him. They asked for advice. He smiled and said, "The most important thing in a shot is patience. Everything else is noise." He no longer fought. But within him, the silence of the snow in which he once lay remained forever. The years passed. And every winter day, when the snow fell, it seemed as if nature itself remembered him. Old Simo died in 2002. Quietly. In his bed. That same rifle hung on the wall. Next to it, an old photograph. In it, a young man, almost a child, smiles reservedly. He lived his life as he had fought. Without words, without complaints, without fear. And when the snow fell again, it seemed as if Finland itself had saluted him. There are names that time forgets. And then there are those that become the whispers of history itself. Simo Häyhä was not a super soldier. Not a ruthless machine. And not a comic book hero. He was an ordinary man. But it is precisely in ordinary people that the power lies hidden, capable of stopping a storm. When the world was crumbling, he chose to stand. When everyone retreated, he remained. He disliked killing. He loved the land he stood on. Each of his shots was not rage, but defense. Not hatred, but duty. The Finns called it sisu. Inner tenacity, when hope is dead. Yet you keep going. The war is over, but sisu remains in every Finn. Who survived that winter? And today, as the snow falls, it seems as if Finland itself remembers its silent defenders. Cold, whiteness, wind, all these were his elements. He didn't speak grandly. He didn't expect awards. But the world knew his name. His rifle is in museums. His face is on memorial plaques. And in the hearts of those who heard this story, there lives the feeling that within every person lies a sleeping strength. The strength to endure. The strength to be invisible. Yet change the outcome of an entire war. He left no wealth behind. Just an example. That even in the darkest times, a person can remain himself. The story of Simo Häyhä is not just a tale of a sniper. It is the story of a man who chose composure over rage, patience over panic, and honor over glory. Hundreds of years will pass, and the snow will still fall to the ground. People will walk these paths, unaware that a man once lay here, who became a legend. And perhaps one day someone will raise their eyes, look at the white horizon, and feel the same silence he heard in that war, when every shot was an echo of survival. This is not just a war story. It is a reminder that courage isn't always in a shout. Sometimes it's in silence. The White Death died a man, but it lived, like a legend. And as long as the snow falls, his story will live on.